Hey guys, Madison Chirilla here with Horse Training by Madison. Today I want to talk about tie downs. I think that there are very few times a tie down is actually helpful and actually doing what it's supposed to do. I think one of the only true times I can see a horse who is going fast that is actually works is team roping and roping events. You naturally want your horse to be a little bit more collected and not stride out. But for barrel racing, I don't see it ever being helpful. When I see it not being interrupted during the run, it's because the tie down is very loose. Basically, there's no point in it being there. But when a tie down is pulling your horse's nose down, it can throw your horse off balance. If you were standing on one leg, you have your arms out so you can keep your balance. But what if someone were to tie your arms to your side? It's going to be a lot harder to stay on balance. And horses can't stick their arms out by their side, but their head and their neck and the way that they are built, they move their head wherever to keep their balance. If they need to sit down a little bit more or they need to stop, if you see a horse running in the pasture and it needs to stop, you're going to see that horse throw its head up in the air because it's going to be putting weight on their hind end. So in reining and cutting, where they have these long sliding stops and their nose is pulled to their chest, that is very unnatural. I have nothing against those riding styles, but that is not a natural horse thing to do. That's very trained, and it probably took a long time and a lot of riding and skill to get that horse to learn how to do that. They have to learn how to use all those muscles. But that is just not a natural thing for a horse to do. And when we are wanting to go top speed, make fast turns, and have fast runs, I don't think a tie down is allowing that. I think that if your horse needs to come into a barrel and it wants to throw its nose out, hunt the barrel, and flatten out a little bit, it can't do that with a tie down on. It's going to have to learn a whole new way to make that turn and it still be fast, but it's not going to be natural. It's probably not going to be as fast as it possibly could be because that horse is not able to use everything. If you're going to be a rider, but you get these two fingers taken off, yeah, you'll learn how to do it. It's just going to take longer. It's going to be harder. It's not going to be natural for you. Same with the horse. It gets excited and it wants to put its head up. You know, I get that. People don't really want them to be bashed in the face with their horse's head, but I think that that can be something taught out through training, not, well, let's just throw its nose down, because that is going to not be successful during a run, or you could be more successful. Horses that I see with tight tie downs on either have their nose collected up to their chest and have a C shape, or what I see them do is be really hoppy. They want to move their front end around the barrel because they cannot utilize their hind end as well as possible because they don't have that balance. They can't throw their nose out or be able to put their head up to sit down. When I am coming into the barrel with my horse Lucero or Mitzi, she really, and him and most horses that I've ridden, like to stretch out their nose. They like to reach into that barrel so they can slow down their body. They can be compact and tight. And if you have a tie down on, the horse cannot do that. And if it can, your tie down is too loose and it shouldn't be there anyways. When someone says, I have a tie down on my horse because my horse likes to keep its head high, do you ever think about why the horse likes to put its head up in the air? No, for real, like, do you think about that? Because I know I didn't. But then when I did start thinking about it, I thought, okay, when I go into the gate, my horse is keeping its head high, and because it's excited. I have a horse that likes to keep his head high and he likes to rear up. And I'm not going to put a tie down on him. I'm going to go back into the training arena. I'm going to teach him tools so that when I can gather his nose back for safety. But during the run, does your horse ever throw its head up? If it does, well, let's talk about the extent of its throwing its head up. Is it sitting back and preparing for a turn so it can actually sit down? Or is it throwing its head up and being naughty and almost hitting you in the face? All those things can be corrected without the tie down. I think that we're kind of masking the true problem. We're just throwing something on it, and that's not going to make you the most successful as you possibly can be. So I think it is so outdated to use a tie down. Just to, like throwing a band-aid on a broken leg. So we need to go back and find the root of those issues. It could be so many different things that we don't think about. If you watch closely, right when this video slows down, you can see Mitzi sit down and reach her nose out to prepare for that barrel turn. And on the way back out, she picks her head back up to place her weight on her hind end to accelerate again. So if you go back and you look at some videos or photos of you turning barrels, poles, or whatever, when your horse is coming into the barrel, you'll see it's put, usually a horse will stretch out and put its nose out. And a tie down, you know, if you think about it, it's really not holding your horse's nose down, because they can squish up their neck and it can even be like closer to your head, which is not very fun or safe, because everybody, I'm sure, has gotten a bloody nose or two from a horse lifting their head up like that. It's actually preventing them from pushing it outward more. And you see those horses where you just see the horse running in stride, and a natural how a horse's head bobs when it's running, and you'll see that tie down just coming loose and tight and pulling on its nose, and then it's having to shorten its stride, and that's not going to be, it's, you know, it's not going to have its full balance, and that can be pretty dangerous. You see a lot more horses that trip because they have a tie down on, because they can't get their nose out to catch there. If they do a short stride and they need to have that a little bit more of a elongated stride, and they need to put their nose out to push their body forward to catch that leg, they can't do that. And I don't think people truly want their horse to not be able to do that. They just don't think about why they put their tie down on their horse exactly. Another downfall for using a tie down is the fact that the horse can become very reliant on the tie down. Instead of utilizing their bodies and their muscles and your training tools, they'll just push up against that tie down when they come into the barrel. And you can make the argument saying, well, it helps my horse balance come into the barrel, so they have something to kind of brace up against. But once again, we go back to, is that really going to be the most successful and the fastest run? It's really not going to help your horse balance. It actually will put them off balance, because if you ride without it, they're not going to know what to do with themselves. So I say start a horse out right and try to teach it all the tools so it doesn't need a tie down, or if you already are riding a horse that you've been using a tie down on, spend those times in the practice arena without one, and then try adding a little bit of more speed each time so the horse can relearn how to turn most naturally for that particular horse. So a lot of people say it helps with balance, it helps put them on their hind end, but what's going to help them turn the barrels faster and utilize their hind end is training. When people say, I put a tie down on because I want my horse to sit on its hindquarters or have more control, you're really not having more control. Or if you do have more control, you're kind of taking the easy way out, and when you do want to add speed or go faster, have better turns, you're not going to want that tie down there, and then you're going to have to kind of start back over, because your horse is going to have to learn how to turn all over again without the tie down. So do the hard work, do the training in the arena, so you don't need that aid that I truly don't even think works. So if you guys have comments or want me to elaborate more on other things, comment on this video, send me an email, write me a message on Facebook. I love to hear from you guys, because I'm constantly trying to learn. I personally haven't seen a tie down be super successful, or if I do seeing it be successful, I see it masking a true problem, and it's keeping that horse from doing something that maybe is not helpful towards the run, but instead of fixing it in the practice pen, you're throwing a band-aid on it. I want to help you guys be successful to your full extent. Be proud of your runs and feel good. Don't be afraid to leave a comment and say, hey, I've been using a tie down on my horse and it's been great for this many years, but who knows, maybe you could be better. Maybe you could be more successful. And if you watch this video and then you go try to make a full run and take off your horse's tie down and you have a crappy run, and then you want to say, oh, Madison told me not to have a tie down on. Guys, if you've been running your horse with a tie down on for many years, and then all of a sudden you give it its nose and it blows out its barrels and its hips are going everywhere and it wants to go faster and you have a horrible run, don't blame me. I'm just telling you, take that thing off, practice without it. You know, if obviously you don't want to just go and change a huge thing just like at a big barrel race. You're going to be like, I'm going to switch which barrel I go to. You know, if maybe that's something you want to do, you know that you're going to go practice that couple months, get it, you know, do it. Same with this. You're going to have to practice without that tie down. You're going to have to get that horse used to having its nose free and being able to learn how to turn naturally for that horse. And it might take a little bit of time, but I promise you, it will be worth it. And if you want to find a way to keep your horse's nose a little bit more down, a German martingale is a great alternative. I used to run a couple of my horses in German martingales until I added lots of speed. Then they really limit your horse's turning abilities. But if you're kind of training them and you're not going top speed and you want to have clean turns, and then it's a great tool. I warm up with it every single time with Lucero. If I'm doing an event that I need a little bit more control on, I put that on. I don't put on a tie down because I want him to still be able to have all of his balance, still be able to use every muscle, not have to change his ways of running or moving. So a German martingale is a great alternative. I know they can be a little bit expensive. You can make them at home, and I can do a video on how to make a German martingale if you guys are interested. If you are, drop a comment on this or email me and let me know, because I'd be more than happy to show you. And you can literally make it for like really cheap, like 20 bucks, and so maybe even less. But yeah, that is a great alternative, and it's great for the practice pen, and it really helps with body control. If your horse, is a long horse or just doesn't, its hip kicks out and around the barrels, and you feel like you're burning out coming out of your barrels, it is great for that. But say no to the tie down. Take that next step into being more successful. Don't be afraid. Go to the practice pen and try it out, and start thinking about why you do things and not just do them. Thank you guys for watching. This is Madison Chirilla with Horse Training by Madison. Like I said earlier, you can leave any comments. If you have video ideas or want me to elaborate more or have something that you want to see or get my opinion, you can always leave a comment here, email me, visit my blog at www.horsetrainingbymadison.com, or Facebook message me. There will be a lot more videos to come. Thanks for watching. Bye.